Hey Jess, how you going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, been a busy day in the studio. How's everything?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Just keeping busy.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for getting on a little interview today. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions because you did my Bingo Academy music program over the last few months. You've had some really great success. We recently finished your track, and now it's you got the mastering back, and it sounded really good. And I just wanted to ask you, let's kick it off. What were you doing, before the program? What do you do for work? And I guess what kind of inspired you to want to get, deeper into music production?
So for work, I work at a financial company as a
Mm,
9 to 5. I also do marketing freelance on the side for nightclubs, and then I do DJing in between that. Um, I guess I just wanted to do production because I felt like it was like the next step up.
mm,
I'm very like target and focused. So I kind of felt like I'd reached just a certain limit within my DJing career and kind of wanted to expand that more.
mhm,
Um, so then I'd been on and off Ableton for a few years. I'd kind of like bought it years ago, would spend a couple months and then ignore it, and was in this kind of cycle. And I would get help from people, but it just wasn't sticking. Like I would kind of like, and I kind of need someone to put me on a structure,
mm,
otherwise it just won't get done.
mm.
And then, yeah, fast forward to January, I started it. I had a few meltdowns, a few breaks, but we got there. We
We
got
got there. We got there in the end.
there.
Nah, it's awesome to see as well, your progression from when you first started. I remember like seeing, that kind of blank Ableton project to where we are now, and just, you being able to kind of see all the little bits and pieces of Ableton, and you've got, a great deeper kind of understanding. And yeah, because you'd been DJing for a little while in the Sydney scene, that's right. And you probably wanted to start playing your own music live.
Yeah, and I always felt like I was like listening to my own sets and my own playlist, and there's always like tiny little tweaks
Mm,
that I wanted to make. And the end kind of goal is like I've been IB for quite a few times from when I lived in the UK, and I even go back now. And it's having that like continuous set with your continuous sound, which is what I
hmm
really wanted to do. And you just can't do that when you're mixing and matching other people's music. So
hmm
to start off that process, to know that I can kind of build my own sound and have that flow through and have that set that's so clean to the point where you don't really know when it's going into another song or not. And you can do that with mixing other people's songs, but it just doesn't have that same quality. So
Mm.
that's there. That's
No,
the
100%. And also I feel like, I'd say to like a lot of my students, like if you ever kind of listen to a song or you're playing, other people's music and you always think that like certain sections should go a little bit different, or like you may think that there's like a better way that it can be done. That's like a perfect mindset to, get into music production, and kind of expand your kind of limited knowledge in DJing. Awesome. And once, we kind of did the program, and how are you feeling now that, you've completed the program? Like how would you say your kind of Ableton skills are now?
oh, they're so much better. So much better. I feel like I can see like a structure. It doesn't feel like such a lengthy process anymore. Like I felt like I was just doing things and not really getting anywhere,
Mm,
which was quite frustrating. And it now kind of feels like there's light at the end of the tunnel. I know I have a lot more to learn still, but to have that like knowledge to even just make that song and have it mastered is just like such a massive step that now it almost is like a graduation of like tweaking things rather than just feeling like I don't know what I don't know and I was really lost.
mm. And how would you say as well, like that feeling of kind of getting to the finish line of, going from scratch all the way to like that finished track. It's done, it's mastered, it's ready to go, ready to play it live. How's that feeling of, I guess kind of going through that hurdle of finishing the record?
Oh, it's so good. It's like a personal goal that I've literally had on my bucket list for like years, and like to
Mm,
be able to like cross that off and be like, you finally did it. I mean, learning Spanish has still been on there for about
mm.
4 years, but we'll
We'll
ignore
get
that.
there after the next track,
Yeah, that one can
hmm
go that way. But
mm,
the fact that this has kind of been on there as well, to
mm,
have that now finally ticked off, just it lifted a weight off my shoulders, to be honest, because I was getting to the point where you kind of, I'm like, am I ever going to do this? Is it ever actually going to get done? And I think just being like persistent was probably the best thing, to be honest, because there was a fair few times where I was like, I can't do it anymore. But no,
Oh,
yeah,
we powered through. We powered through.
powered through. And yeah,
Yeah.
they're feeling so good.
And saying, keeping on with like the persistence, is there any kind of tips you'd give for maybe new students who are just starting right now, who may be feeling the kind of same like frustration, or any kind of tips you'd give them to get through the whole program?
I'd probably say if you want to take a break, it's okay to take a break.
Mm,
Like it's okay, but like set yourself a deadline to say, okay, I'm gonna have like a month off. I'm gonna make sure that after this month I'm dedicated because I feel like if you put too much pressure on yourself for like a finished deadline, I think that's what was probably really stressing me out.
mm,
And then when I actually was like, do you know what, you've got a really busy month with gigs and it was summer and stuff like that. I'm like, if I taking that month out helped me completely restart my brain and come back in a better mindset because I feel like when you get a bit down, you're just in this thing and you hate it because you hate everything that's happening with it and you're not happy with what
mhm.
you're producing. So to take that gap was 100% worth it for me. 100%.
No, 100%. I think, yeah, especially when you're saying with the deadline, when we do the program, especially the new like intake we have, I try and get the guys, finish that track within, 8 to 10 weeks. And yeah, a lot of people, love to kind of change their mind last minute. We get to the final couple of weeks and then they go, no, I hate, I want to change the whole track, or I hate this, and we got to start from beginning. And I go, no, let's stick to the deadline. Let's, because when you first listen to the song, you got goosebumps. You had that feeling, and then over time, you get listening to the same song again and again and again, and you start getting a little bit sick of it. And it's totally normal. But yeah, I always tell my students, never forget how you felt the first time you like heard the drop, and you were like, oh shit. I remember actually when we were writing the track, you did a little bit of a scream when we did the first drop in one of the sessions. When we got like I remember we were doing like the vocal build up, and then I put like the vocal thing like on the drop, and you just went.
I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I love
Because that was it. That's like what I call the face in the track. That's like you when you finally, it all makes sense. Like, because when you're first making music, like you're like, does this work? I don't know. Is this even gonna? And then it all just like kind of like that limitless moment. Like it's just all the light bulb goes off, and you're just like, oh yeah, here we go. It's all sounding really good. But yeah, I want to kind of end this interview with a final question. I guess what are some of your kind of big music goals that you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months?
It's to kind of like stay on the path to getting more tracks out, but to a main thing is to kind of look at remixes because I know
Hmm.
that's a massive thing in the industry at the minute. And then obviously to build that into a set because I think as much as I'd want to have a set of all my own music, I'd also like to have that to include kind of touch points other people know.
Hmm.
So the end goal is to have that original kind of sound
Hmm.
set, but
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
next one is to focus on remixes now.
No, 100%. And I think as well, because a lot of like, artists in the scene. And it's great, with this track coming out, you can tell the scene that look at the dope house music I'm making now. So I definitely reckon you'll get some remix requests in the next couple of weeks and months. And yeah, like you definitely kind of nailed in your sound, that kind of nice, kind of warm garage kind of vibe with all your records. So yeah, definitely keep at it. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you're doing in the next, couple months and years. Hopefully, yeah, get that Beatport one.
Excited.
But yeah, thanks so much for chatting with me today, Jess. And yeah, I'll catch you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks, bye.